Hey, it's Barry.
And Dave.
And Jerry.
And Dan.
Here with another episode of Hooked on Headwaters down here at beautiful Headwaters Lake. As you can see behind us, is a great day. Sun's up, perfect temperatures. We're coming into a new season here. And today we're going to cover changing temperatures mean changing baits. So we're going to talk about some of the baits that are working now as we're going through this transition. We're going to cover some baits that are working very well. Jerry's going to cover those.
Yep.
Dan's going to cover some rod management. We've got a new sponsor we're going to talk about here.
Yes, sirree.
And a whole lot more. So let's go ahead and kick this show off. Comment below if you have any questions though for these guys coming up for next week.
Yeah. And I want to welcome Blue Cypress Lakeside Cabins as one of our new channel sponsors. This is a great place to stay, folks. This is right at Blue Cypress Lake, right on the water. This is more of a rustic setting. The cabins have a great rear-facing porch. It's on the lake. Great place to bring your boat. They can wash down. You can hook it up. They also are very accommodating to any special needs you may have in terms of accommodations and boat. Jim and Tammy will take care of you for sure.
Absolutely. Beautiful lake, beautiful place, great place to fish. So if you want that something different vacation wise, you're coming down, definitely check them out. Information will be below. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right in this week.
Okay. I'm going to the camera.
I think last week we started with you, my man, so we're going to go Dan this week.
Okay.
We're going to do a little week in review, of course, as we like to do. Talk about what happened out on the water, kind of the conditions, what you're seeing out there. So
okay. So some things that were obviously coming in this time of year, as we were already discussing, we're having a lot of temperature changes with air and water. Got a lot of bright sun now. I was out today. The warmest I saw was 65 degrees in the water temp. So some things I've noticed about Headwaters, the northern portion of it, the hydrilla is changing. So there's a lot of places that were completely topped out just a month ago that now are almost fishable. Something we discussed recently too, fishing in the north end, just keep in mind that it is duck season. Watch out for the guys that are duck hunting. And if you see them, avoid them if you can. There are brothers out here. So things to look for is birds that do not fly when you get close when you're running your boat. Those are probably decoys. And also, you duck hunters that happen to see this, don't shoot one over our head because we came in on you. Remember, you are wearing camouflage. We cannot see you.
that's right.
But anyway,
These are
off
all
that
good
little
tips.
rabbit trail.
Yeah.
So
we're not meaning to bring a fishing rod to a gunfight either.
No. Well, we don't want to mess with you guys. We don't want to mess you up. But again, the grasses are changing all over the lake, really, especially the hydrilla this time of year. The hydrilla starts to die off. If you're fishing up on the north end, it's still got a lot of green on the western half. When I say that, the Fellsmere Reservoir portion, north of the east-west canal, there's still a lot of really dirty green water. I don't particularly like fishing that, but I know there's resident fish there because I caught some in nasty water last year. So moving further south, I'm still catching fish, from the east-west canal south. A lot of it is just put your head down and fish. There's like today I had a difficult day today. I didn't catch a lot of fish, nothing real big, but I was fishing a lot of areas I haven't fished since this time last year, checking these different areas that I was catching fish in previously. So that's mainly what I've been catching some on.
All right, great. So we got kind of an update on Week in Review with you. Give us 1 minute though, a reminder to everybody out there, your guide business, services you provide, where you fish, that kind of thing.
Okay, sure. The name of my business is Fish Hand Guide Service. I cover, of course, Headwaters.
Important question. How long you been doing this here?
Here?
In this area. How long you been
I thought you were talking Headwaters.
How long you been here?
I've been in Indian River County my entire life. I got my captain's license in 2001, and I did it on a part-time basis until just a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I buckled down and just
But a lifelong resident, been here forever.
Yeah, I've been
local guy.
Local guy. I've been here forever. Been crazy about fishing since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
I went into aviation, and now I'm back into fishing. So it's it's one of those things. It's kind of like an addiction.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So great. We're gonna jump over to Jerry here, and we can review first.
So I fished Headwaters Saturday, and I fished Headwaters Sunday, and did well both days. But obviously, you know, I'm mostly shiner fisherman.
Sure.
But yeah, we did well both days, big numbers. Then I fished Farm 13 Monday. The locks were running, so we did really well up there as well. So 3 days, all 3 days, we caught, you know, we caught big fish Monday. Big fish. 10 pounds. A couple few of them were 10 pounds.
Yep.
So yeah, so we did. I fished 3 days this week, and we did Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We all 3 days we did well.
Right on. And then what? Give us the 1 minute. But before you give us the give us the 1 minute and a little bit of background. How about you?
So
Been around for a while in this area?
I was born right here. I've been fishing right here since 1989. So back when the stick marsh wasn't even the stick marsh. Well, it was a stick marsh, but there was just one little single dirt ramp down there. There was none of this was here. So 30 years I've been here fishing. I offer airboat bass charters out of Kenansville, Lake Kenansville. I can also fish out of my airboat in Farm 13 stick marsh area. I offer a flats boat here out of Headwaters. So, you know, I fish multiple lakes in 2 different boats.
Yeah. So we got all kinds of local knowledge. Me personally, born and raised here myself. So just all these, you know, the lakes from Lake Washington to St. John's was my stomping grounds.
Three Forks, Blue Cypress, Headwaters now, Farm 13,
Garcia's.
Stick Marsh, Garcia's. So yeah, I mean, we just everywhere. I fished everywhere since I was a kid.
You know what's interesting about this area, and Indian River
it's
County.
Awesome, that's what.
Yeah, we have some of the best, and it's not just sand, so come fish with us. We have some of the best bass fishing in the nation.
Right here.
Right here.
Right here. For 20 years, Stick Marsh was, I mean, listen, the Mecca. It was the Mecca.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in magazines all over the country. Florida, Stick Marsh, Farm 13. And I mean, it's still, I mean, we caught giant fish. What is today? Wednesday. Monday. We caught giant fish Monday out of Farm 13. So I mean, it's still good. And then now you have Headwaters here that was built just for this. So I mean, it's a Mecca now, you know. And then Lake Kenansville the same way. I mean, it's just Garcia's the same way. I mean, this is just ground zero for big bass country.
Yeah, and so many good places all within a close area.
Right here.
Every time I do these things, people are calling for trips instead of waiting until after the show. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a show. We'll hang on. Just leave your name and number. I'll call you right back for a trip. All right. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, this guy.
So sorry for interrupting there, folks. It's just, it happens every time. Somebody's calling while we're recording. So anyway, we got local knowledge for years and years and years. We've got local lakes that are, you know, great fishing, all close together. So take your pick when you're coming down. You hook up with a guy, let them, you know, bounce around. You know, I know the name Headwaters, everybody's like, but there's
a lot of other places to fish.
Other waters that you want to take advantage of.
Another good thing about right here too is these lakes are all very well maintenance. They're all very well protected. Everything is catch and release. I mean, these fish are here. They're not getting pulled out of here and taken, and you know, you're losing your fish. I mean, these fish are here and they're growing and they're just protected. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I wouldn't live anywhere else in the state of Florida. I wouldn't live anywhere else, period. But I would not live anywhere else in the state of Florida for what I do.
Yeah, no, it's a great place to be. So, moving on from there, we're going to go ahead and cover baits. Dave, call in the air. Let's go ahead and talk about baits. What baits do you use this week? What do you like? Give us a little rig up, something that people can pretty much
let me get my hardware out here.
They're going to work on. And little spoiler alert, one of them that he's going to talk about is my absolute go-to. Oh, before we jump into that, I do want to make one quick comment when it comes to the lake. Change of season also means change of the lake look.
Correct.
If you were here last year, you would find spots that you were like, wow, this place is incredible looking, right? And then you come back a week later, it's gone.
Not there.
Like, wait a minute, where did it go? Or you may go out in the morning with the right winds, all of a sudden you're blocked off. The east-west is blocked off, the S canal's blocked. So pay attention when you're, this time of year, because we're shifting around now to more north, northwest. We're pulling these,
matted islands. It's pushing them in and out, in and out, in and out. They're, you got a place you may tear them up today, and you got an island that may be 100 yards by 50 yards, and you go home and you come in tomorrow and you're like, wait a second, I know I was here. And that island's 200 yards or 300 yards or a quarter mile down the lake somewhere. And as Dan was saying, as it gets cooler, all of this matted hydrilla that you see at some point is not going to be there anymore. It's going to start thinning out, so it's never going to be the same. It's always going to be different. And you just, the best thing that I do is, even though that island that you were fishing that was matted up and it looks great and you were catching big fish under it, it's gone. It's just a pattern. Just find it somewhere else, and the fish are going to be there the same way they were here.
Yeah, just be sure to mark. If you don't have waypoints marked on this lake because you think you know it now, mark them anyway, because you're going to find yourself running into some places that you're like, I'm not sure where I just turned into. It just happened. So
that's right.
I did want to make note of that, because that'll happen. So now we can jump over to baits.
Alrighty, so this week we caught fish. We shiner fished in the morning times, and when the shiners were gone, we went to artificial. And we did really well on this Gambler. It is a June bug speed worm, and it's the bigger version of it. It's not a smaller worm. It is a big, chunky, healthy worm. But this worm right here, they just really like this worm when it comes off of that matted hydrilla. So that right there was one that we caught them on. And then we also, which I caught quite a few on this and some good fish, was this bluegill flash fluke. Taking it and rigging it up with a 1/32 ounce wide gap hook that's got, it's not a very big profile bait, but then it has this hook that has a corkscrew in the end of the hook, and you just screw that cork right down inside of that hook, and then, or inside of that bait, and then take your hook and put it in there just like you would Texas rig a worm. And same deal, it's very light, and you can throw it in that hydrilla that's matted to the surface, and you can just skip it across there, and once it gets to where that hydrilla ends, just let it fall in that pocket, and that bait will just, so that right there was really good this week. Another one, I had a client that was really catching a lot of fish on, and he was speeding this thing across the top of the matted hydrilla were these big frogs like this right here. Z-Man makes one that is really good. They make a really good one. It's a little bit different than this. It's a little more durable than this one. You could catch 50 fish on it and it never seems to come apart. Where this one, after 4 or 5 fish, it starts to rip. But just this with no weight at all, with just a regular true turn 3 or 4/0 worm hook. Same thing with me with everything. 50-pound braid, 12-pound diameter, and speed it as fast as you can, and it just makes this real noise, and then fish just come up and just smack it. So this was working. The fluke in the bluegill color was working, and then the speed worms were working in the June bug, and the June bug with red in them. So all 3 of these baits did really well this week out here at Headwaters.
And those hooks there?
They are a 1/32 ounce weight wide gap. Or extra, actually they're an extra wide gap. They just got a little weight right there inside the hook.
But here's the nice thing about that, though. You want to change the way your bait falls.
Change the weight. That's exactly right.
If you got that thing all the way up at the top, your bait's going to tend to nosedive. If you bring it back this way to the center, more to
correct
the center. Now your bait's going to take more of this approach down. So I like to use those on the small Cinco style worms.
And you
for that reason.
You don't want to take it and rig it like you would Texas rig a worm. You actually want to take it as a corkscrew in the end of it, and you take that corkscrew and just tick it right in the top of that bait, and then you just twist it, and it'll just go right in that bait. And then after you do that, then you can take it and you can Texas rig it from that point on. You can take it. I didn't put it all the way in, but you get the gist of it. And then that's how you rig it right there. And listen, they were just absolutely munching that thing this week.
Yep.
1/32 ounce, very light.
Yeah, I like it because it's just enough to get it a little bit quicker down. And I typically work it, ditch it out there, let it sink, and then I'll just kind of do a slow bounce, kind of more of a this kind of a deal.
You actually could take it, like Barry was saying, you can actually take it once you have it rigged properly. You can actually take it and you can just, you know, kind of, and it'll just darts like that. And I mean, they're all over it. I don't know if they think it's a wounded shad, a wounded shiner, or a bluegill, or what it is, but once they see that thing flipping around like that, man, they just go nuts for it.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. That's when we started out last year. Matter of fact, about this time,
Yep.
was a couple colors that worked very well. So, all right,
That's it.
great. Dan's going to talk about
Rod management. Similar in a previous video, check out a video we did on casting in a wind. But rod management.
Put that video right up here.
There you go.
Casting in the wind video, right?
Yep. There. Yeah, it's right there. Got it. Yeah, so being a guide, I notice a lot of things. I'm sure Jerry notices these things too. And not trying to be in a critical nature of people, but you know, I get a lot of people that are not well experienced fishermen. And like the thing I spoke about on the casting in the wind video, it's a helpful tip. And there's one thing that I notice with a lot of guys, that it causes a level of inefficiency, and it makes a lot of it makes things more difficult when you're trying to work with your rod. So one thing I've found is, you know, a guy, he'll make a cast and he gets bit, misses the fish, and the bait comes in and it's pulled down, and now you got to rig your bait. The problem that I see a lot is when they reel that back in, this is where they stop with this much line out. And they do it when they got a fish hooked on too, which you're real likely, these high modulus
You're real likely to graphite, get a hook in your hand once
hook in your hand
fish.
or break the tip of your rod.
Yes.
So, you know, then what you got, I had a fella, you know, it's just something happens, he's working on his rod. Well, meanwhile, the reel's underwater. You know, it's bouncing off the side of the boat. So, my suggestion, and you can do it how you want, but this is how I do it. When I stop, I have just about the length of the rod out of line, and I do this.
That's exactly right.
So, you're picking up, stop about, you know, about 6 feet, 7 feet from the boat, and then just lift your rod tip, and it swings right to your hand every time. Practice that, and it will save you a lot of time. If you have a fish that you're fighting a fish, you bring them up to the boat, don't stop with 12 inches of line out. Stop well before that. What I've seen happen is the tips of rods break off. This is the most fragile portion of your rod, and hanging especially a larger fish, if I pull this line, you know, straight down right now, I could break the tip of this rod very easily. So take care of your equipment. That'll save you equipment. It'll save you headaches, save you from getting hooked. So remember, leave about the length of your rod out to work on your baits.
Yeah, good tip. I see it all the time as well.
That's probably, I think, one of the most important things is what he just covered right there. You've got a fish that's 5 or 6 pounds on it, and this guy's standing back here, and his rod's bent double, and I can't even get enough slack in the line to try to pull the hook out of the fish's mouth, you know, and we use a lot of spinning tackle with shiners, and I have to tell him, you flip the bell open, so that line will just fall, and I can try to remove that hook from that fish on slack line. They just don't, you know, and it's like Dan's saying, it's nothing, you know, against anybody. They just, you know, it's just lack of experience, and they don't know. So, you know, that's all part of the trip to me, is teaching them, learning them, you know, and that's all part of it too.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. You guys doing this week?
I'm fishing.
Using, you got gonna be throwing your
I think I'm gonna stick with the flukes, and I'm gonna stick with the flukes. And you know, something else I actually caught them on last week, which I didn't mention, was the devil horse, a blue and silver devil horse. I was taking it, finding the hydrilla pockets, and throwing in the opening. You'll have, let's say you got a matted hydrilla, you know, 20 feet by 20 feet, but then you've got an area that's open 30 feet, and then you got another hydrilla pocket throwing in the middle of the open water. And you know, people think in Florida, you got a prop bait, you're gonna, I take that bait and I throw it in the water, and I let it sit until the ripples are completely gone, and then I will just and I'll let it sit until the ripple. If that fish is there, that fish knows that bait's there. You just rip that thing a little bit and let it sit. Rip it a little bit, let it sit, and 90% of the time on that sit, he's going to come up and smash it.
Yep.
These fish, some of these big fish, and like they're not just going to chase that bait all the way across the lake to get it. I mean, they won't just let it sit in the strike zone. Just let it sit there.
When you think you're fishing too slow, slow down.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So you know, I caught them on Devil Horse this week too.
That's got to be, that reminds me.
I like fishing prop baits.
Tip-wise, those two have been the biggest change in my approach this year coming in. It's like you said, top water.
Yes.
A little bit, let it sit, a little bit, let it sit, and dead sticking my worm.
That's it, buddy.
I've got more hookups between just those two things. So yeah, you're right. You don't have to be working that bait.
Yep. Chug bug, same way.
It's not to say that there isn't a time for it, but
right. Zare spook, same way. Pop, 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 pop.
And kill it.
Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, it's no different than a jig or anything else. You pulling up, he's not going to hit it. It's on that fall. So it's like when that bait stops, it's like to him, that's his opportunity. Okay, it stopped. I'm going to smash it.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, dead sticking for sure this time of year. Coming in when it starts getting cold,
yes,
you break out. Dave was talking about trick worms and a Cinco. Cinco's great this time of year when things start getting cold. The fish are lethargic. Just throw it up there, right on. Pick a target. What I like to do is target fish with those kind of things, and just be patient.
Yeah.
Don't get in a hurry like I do sometimes. I get in a hurry.
We can all do that.
Yeah, but they're killing it, letting it sit.
You really got to slow down, especially in Headwaters, because everywhere looks good.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, you're like, oh, there's a fish there. There's got to be a fish here. There's got to be a fish here. So you just slow it down, work it all real good, take your time. Sometimes you may have to throw into a spot 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then finally that fish will get aggravated enough where hey, this is something I want, and boom.
Yep, for sure. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do, okay, folks, time to mention our favorite place to stay on the Intercoastal. That's gonna be the Davis House Inn. A great place to stay when you're coming into town. They've got the electric hookup for your batteries, hose for washing down your boat, really clean rooms, big rooms, and walking distance to lots of great restaurants and places to hang out at. They got a dock right there you can fish off of, and lots of new things that they're bringing into the Davis House Inn for entertainment. So you have a great time staying there. You mentioned Hooked on Headwaters, you're going to get a discount, so definitely check out their information below. Give Kyle a call, get a room reserved. You're going to love it. So I think that's going to about wrap it up here, fellas. We just need to get old Dave back from out behind the camera.
This is my favorite part right here.
Dave back in.
I come. I'm here.
All right, folks. Thanks again for watching. We appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, the like, give us a thumbs up, comment for sure. Any question for these guys, let us know, and we'll get those answered. Any questions for Dave and I? If you're looking for a bow fishing trip, hit up Dave and I. Kayak fishing trip, hit up Dave as well.
Go kayaking, folks. Getting good out there. The kayak. By the way, the Headwaters kayak launch has opened up. And I did a quick video last week about it. I was out with a buddy. We launched out. We had a walk down about, again, 50, 75 yards. In a matter of hours, we had a stiff northwest wind blowing, got up to 20. On our way back, miraculously, the kayak launch was wide open. And let me tell you, it was a bear to head back, because we had gone quite a distance. So now we were pedaling and paddling back into this headwind. So it was just a delight to see that kayak launch open. And what I'm getting at is I didn't have to haul my kayak from 75, 100 yards back and then up the hill. So it was made for just a better day. It was a nice way to end the day.
Yeah, I was down there Monday morning and it's wide open right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. We will see you all next week.
One more thing.
Oh,
don't forget dinks to dunks.
Right.
Submit those pictures. We're gonna have that virtual bulletin board. We had a few last week. Submit those. We got a couple of nice ones. Jerry submitted a few nice ones. They'll be up there.
Yep.
And so get them in. It's just a fun way to put up your catch.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Now we're good.
We're good now.
All right.
See you next week.
You can hit the buy button.
So long, everyone. Bye. God bless.
See y'all.
See you later.